What's going on YouTube? Giasno right here. So in today's video I have great news for those of you waiting for an iOS 12 jailbreak. Umang, one of the Electra team members, has announced on Twitter pretty much this. And yes, I know it's cryptic as hell, but I'm going to try to explain what this means. He posted a couple hashes in here, and one of them is labeled as info leak. And he said, quote, "This has been a good month." Well, what this means for the iOS 12. Well, he followed it up with this one in here, which says, quote, "In other words," and he posts what seems to be a query on a database, which pretty much shows iOS 12 as what, being jailbroken or something, and he pretty much is asked what is the reliability of his exploit, and he said that it's a solid 8 out of 10 on average, which means that if this exploit is pretty much released for the iOS 12, and we get a jailbreak on top of it, it's going to be a very solid jailbreak with fewer reboots than the MP-TCP Electra, and far less reboots than the VFS Electra. So the era of a lot of reboots before jailbreaking might be upon us soon. So Pound2Own has commented on this, and he said, quote, "I said this before and I'm saying it again, iOS 12 will be quite fun. Since people have been asking what are those, these are the hashes for his proof of concept for an iOS 12 kernel 0-day and an info leak. So these are pretty much exploits that Umang has created for his vulnerabilities for the iOS 12 kernel. Now what this means? Well, this means that we currently have active exploits that are working for a jailbreak on iOS 12. Now, why is this important? Well, if you navigate here on the Apple developer portal, if you have an account, you can see that iOS 12 is on beta 11. So again, why is this important? Well, iOS 12 has to be released soon, so the betas have to stop at some point. And why? Well, Apple just announced this in here, which is the Apple special event that will be streamed live on September 12, and this is when they will unveil the new iPhones of this year, and of course the new iPhones have to run iOS 12. So iOS 12 has to be done and out of the beta by that period, which is September 12, which is not that far in the future. So if I'm right, there will not be too many betas of iOS 12 to come. So we're pretty much at beta 11 right now, and this means that we're pretty close to the final release of the iOS 12. And I have talked with Umang in the past, and he told me that he's planning to release this exploit, and of course this is pretty much all we need in order to make a jailbreak for the iOS 12, because if we have kernel exploits, that's pretty much it, everything else falls down. So since Umang is planning to release his vulnerabilities, his exploits for the iOS 12, this means that we might get a jailbreak for a signed version of iOS 12. Now imagine how good is that? Well, if you for example mess up and you want to re-jailbreak, you can simply restore the device while the iOS 12 is still signed, that specific version, and of course you will be able to jailbreak again. You know, having a jailbreak for a signed iOS version is definitely something great. We usually get jailbreaks for versions that are no longer signed, so there is absolutely no room for mistakes. But in this case, if you mess up something and you have to restore, you might as well be able to pretty much go back to a version that is jailbroken. And of course, Apple has announced the fact that iOS 12 will be, you know, less focused on new features and more focused on pretty much stability and, you know, performance improvements and so on. So iOS 12 will be definitely bulletproof, because that's the point of it, to pretty much stabilize again the iOS after the fiasco with the iOS 11. So this is going to pretty much be a very good iOS version to be on. Now imagine combining the stability of the iOS 12 and the new features of the iOS 12 with a jailbreak for a signed version of iOS 12. That's pretty much going to be like the heaven for the jailbreakers. So I'm pretty glad that Umang has found those vulnerabilities and he has been able to exploit them and test on iOS 12. Anyways, I have to agree with Pound2Own, this is definitely going to be an interesting iOS version, and it's bound to be jailbroken right from the start compared to iOS 11, which got jailbroken pretty hard. Let's not talk about iOS 11.3.x though. So yeah, this is pretty much it guys, very great news. The kernel exploit is pretty much everything we need in order to be able to produce a jailbreak for that specific version. All the rest of the patches are just like, you know, trivial things you can do, but once we have the kernel exploits, that's pretty much all, the whole system falls down. So yeah, very good news. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to subscribe to stay updated for more news. I'm Giasno, and till the next time, peace out.